Swinging a high fly ball right center field. That's deep. Melton racing back, and that ball is gone. Roman Anthony for the second night in a row, and the Red Sox lead it 9-0.
He's a guy, you just feel it, right?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning if you are listening to this in the morning on replay via podcast format. Sorry for the delay here tonight, everybody. We are live here on YouTube. I was having a bit of trouble here with some technical difficulties, but we are here. We are live. Thank you for joining here tonight. And what a night for the Red Sox tonight. We saw some history with Roman Anthony here, Dustin May. I mean, my goodness. I mean, no pun intended. He knocked my socks off here tonight. My goodness. He looked fantastic. A complete reversal from what we saw against Kansas City his last time out. Man, oh man, he looked great here tonight. Listen, I've been on the record saying, hey, you know what? I think the bullpen, it might end up being the best option for him moving forward. I'm glad I was proven wrong. You know, I've also said I want him to succeed. I want him to do well because he has the stuff to be a good starter in the major leagues, because hasn't fully put it together yet. And, you know, maybe I jumped to conclusions after the first start there, thinking, oh, well, all right, are we just going to keep getting more of this? But, you know, thinking back to it in hindsight, you know, I did talk about this in the preview in last night's show where I said, hey, you know, again, you had the trade deadline. He was traveling, you know, new organization. Everything's new. You know, you got to kind of get your feet under you a little bit. And it looked like whatever happened here in the past week, he got something figured out. They came out with a different game plan here tonight, and they really executed here. And I was also on the record saying, even before this series, that this game could be an absolute slugfest. Go back to the series preview after the Padres. I can't remember how I said it exactly, but I said, hey, we could end up seeing a lot of runs here in game two. And, well, I was correct, really. I thought the Astros, you know, based off of how May looked in his start against the Royals last time, I don't know. I was thinking, all right, well, maybe they might score some runs too. But I guess the Red Sox decided to score all the runs here tonight. 14 runs on the board. Final score, 14-1 here tonight. We saw some history from Roman Anthony here tonight. I made a tweet not mid-game, more towards the end of the game. I goofed a little bit on it, and I ended up deleting the tweet, and I guess I always want to just put the correct information out there, and I missed one little detail, and I'm like, nope, I'm getting rid of this. But as for the history, Roman Anthony, his line tonight, you know, it was funny because I was looking at the box score towards the end of the game, and I'm looking at it, 2 ABs, 4 runs scored, 4 walks, probably should have been 5. There was one where it was kind of a bad call, and he had the home run. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I never see a line like that. That is just a wackadoodle kind of a line. And I'm just thinking that to myself. I'm like, I know there's got to be, you know, at least a couple that are pretty similar, at least. And then they said during the Nesson broadcast that he was the youngest since Ted Williams to have that kind of a line. Where he had 4 walks and a home run in the same game. I misheard it on the broadcast. I thought he had said he was the first since Ted Williams back in 1939. However, Andrew Benintendi did do it back in 2018. But he was 23 years old at the time. So Roman is the youngest since Ted Williams in 1939 to have 4 walks and a home run in the same game. What Roman did a little bit better in this one tonight. I mean, he had 4 runs scored. Ted Williams had 3 back in that game. I think that was September of 1939. Listen, I'm not comparing Ted Williams to Roman Anthony. That's not fair. That's not responsible. But it is pretty cool to see. And we all know how good of a player Roman Anthony can be. We all can see it right in front of our eyes. You just see a special player, right? And no, we're not going to compare to Ted Williams. Again, that's not fair to do. But it is pretty cool, man, when you're seeing what this guy brings to the table every single game. Even when he has a bad game, it still feels like he still contributes. I mean, the guy could go 0 for 4 with 4 Ks, 0 for 5, 5 Ks, and it still feels like he's still a presence up there. Even if he doesn't do anything, it's still even like a smidge of something, right? The guy's just an impact player. He's unbelievable. I can't wait to watch Roman Anthony over the next, 10, 15, 20 years here. Hopefully they're all with Boston. It definitely will be over the next 10 or so years. But wow, what a night here for Roman Anthony. What a night. Also, adding on to that history, he's the fourth Red Sox player ever at 21 years old to homer in back-to-back games. He's the only player in Red Sox history with 20 extra base hits and 25 walks in his first 52 games. The only other player to do it, sorry to compare again, but it was Ted Williams. He had 30 extra base hits and 29 walks in his first 52 games. Unbelievable. That's just crazy, man. He's been hot lately. Again, I was talking about this last night where, yeah, sure, he struck out to end the game. And, I'm seeing people, just saying all this stuff about Roman on social media. He tied the game against San Diego in game 2 of that series, and then struck out with the bases loaded the next day. And then people are just complaining about Roman. Like, oh, why did we give this contract to Roman Anthony? It's like, what are we talking about, right? And you just see what he did here tonight. That's why you give this guy that kind of a contract. Honestly, I mean, he probably should have gotten more, honestly. The guy is ridiculous. But Roman Anthony, special, special player. It wasn't just Roman tonight, though. It wasn't just Roman. He did set up everything very nicely, but Carlos Narvaez looking A-OK, had a home run tonight. Alex Bregman, second straight game with a home run against his old team. He had a solid night. Story, Yoshida, they were chipping in here. Willier with a couple of RBI doubles here tonight. Just a great night for the offense overall. Runs were coming left and right. And like I said with Dustin May, the guy was great, right? 6 innings, 8 Ks overall. We'll get to the final line with him in just a little bit. But Dustin May, he did have one start earlier in the year with the Dodgers against the White Sox. He did go 6 scoreless. He was carrying a no-hitter at one point during that game. In the 8th inning, he ended up giving up a home run, so the shutout ended up going away at that point. So he did have 6 scoreless at one point during that game, but the last time he registered a 6 scoreless outing was back in 2023 in May. So, hey, Dustin May, what do you know? He was great. Everyone, if you can, before I get started here with the breakdown, we're going to talk about Dustin May. We're going to talk about the offense. We're going to get into it here. If you can, just hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. We're trying to get to 5K by the end of the season. I think we can do it. We are within 500 subscribers of that milestone. If you could help us make that happen, I'll love you forever. I'm going to love you forever anyway. It doesn't matter, but that would be great if we can get to that point by then. Everybody, let's get to it here. We have said enough here for the intro already. Before I do, though, we do have a couple of sponsors tonight. I'll be right back.
Hey, we love ripping slab packs on Arena Club. I just ripped one in a Ruby pack. Those are fancy schmancy, Kip. And I pulled a Matt Shaw 2023 Bowman Draft Aqua Lunar Crater Refractor card. And guess what? I got a little offer. You get the instant offer right away. Okay. So they're offering me $121 to sell it back, and then I can get a new slab pack. What do I do?
I want to see this thing. Hold on. Look at that. That's a beautiful card. You know what? I think that's a safe bet. I think it's going to make you a little bit of money. I think the more big league time he gets, I'd almost take the deal, though. I'm in it for the chase. I like opening more packs. I think that 121 can buy you a couple more slabs to open. And I think you keep chasing until you get someone you really like. But that's the best part about it for me.
That's right. You can sell it back, $121, and then open up another slab pack. Use the code FOUL to receive 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase at arenaclub.com/foul.
All righty. Let's get to it here, shall we? Let's get to it. Let's start off with Dustin May here tonight. Just looked like a completely different guy out there tonight. Same amount of in the zone here tonight when it came to throwing strikes. 59% tonight compared to 60% last time against the Royals. But the big difference here was he had a lot less zone contact here tonight. Last time against Kansas City, he had an 84% zone contact percentage. Tonight was 75%. So the stuff was looking good here. Again, like if you go back to the last outing, the velo was looking down a little bit after the first couple of innings. I was kind of thinking about that. We talked about that prior, where I'm thinking to myself, right, maybe just a little bit of fatigue was setting in. Again, he probably had so much adrenaline coming into that start, all the travel, shaking all these new people's hands, right? It's a lot of emotions, obviously, going through, a big trade like that. He's the only team he's ever been with were the Dodgers, right? And then he gets moved, and just like that, he's making a start for the Red Sox on the other side of the country. So, I was kind of thinking to myself, there's probably a little bit of fatigue there. I just got gassed, right, a little quick, but he had, some time here this past week to get his feet under him a little bit, had a bit of extra rest, right? His last start was last Wednesday, so almost had a full week, really. So, for May, he just looked a lot more comfortable here tonight. He looked a lot more rested. He just looked like he had a better rhythm here tonight. Again, a lot of less contact in the zone. The stuff was looking great. Led with the sweepers tonight. That was another big difference here. He was going more with those fastballs last time and the sinkers as well, but he led the way with the sweepers. He followed that up with the sinkers and the fastballs. And with the four-seamers, he was going up in the zone a lot. With the sweeper, he was backdooring them to the lefties. He was going down and in on the righties. And it was really working out, right? The sinkers, he was kind of all over the place with the sinkers. I don't mean that in a bad way, but he was mixing his locations with those. A 33% whiff percentage on the sweeper tonight. That's up 5% from his season average. So that sweeper had some nice bite to it tonight. Go back to the first inning. I really love the sequence on a couple of these ABs here. First inning, Pena, he led off with a sinker, or he led off with a single off the sinker. He left it up a little bit. I'm thinking to myself at that point, oh man, here we go. But then he got Altuve on the pop out. And then Correa and Jesus Sanchez, he struck him out. And I love the sequence here. He went 97 miles an hour up and in to Correa, and then he went sinker down and in at 96. I mean, I love when guys just change eye levels like that. I just love that. And he did the same exact thing to Jesus Sanchez. The only difference was he's the lefty bat, right? So he just did those away from him. Again, changing eye levels. It's really just simple things like that where, again, like stuff is great, but it's how you use it, right? And, you just go back to all these guys, right? Back in the day, like Clemens, Johnson, Pedro, Schilling, all those kind of guys, right? And they all talked about the same thing, Pettit, all those guys, right? Changing eye levels, mixing locations, right? Getting hitters off balance, right? You can, yeah, sure, you got those big fastballs, those nasty sliders, whatever, but there's an art to it. And I saw, I'm not comparing Dustin May to any of those guys, but you just saw where he had a bit more of a plan here tonight. It looked like he just wasn't just throwing stuff over the zone, He had a lot more strikeouts after that, though. He had 3 more in the second. He struck out Walker, Trammell, Melton. He struck out Walker and Trammell again in the 4th inning. Struck out Urias in the 5th. Just a great night for Dustin May. 6 innings, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts overall. Gotta love that for Dustin May, man. Gotta love that. Everybody, before I get to the offense here, we're really going to break this down one more time. If you can, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We do have another word from our sponsor. Before I get to the offense, I'll be right back. The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you've never bet on baseball before, well, it's simple. You pick a guy to go yard, you hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. And here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Alrighty, let's get to the offense. There's a lot of offense to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. 3rd inning. Got it started there with Trevor Story. Well, They loaded the bases up. I think Trevor Story, he came up. Ended up getting hit by a pitch on the hand. Oh, my heart just went up into my throat. I'm thinking, no, please. Please, no. Trevor Story, come on. Don't be hurt. Please. I think everyone gasped at that point. He was in pain. He was not looking very good. And I'm thinking, oh, man, come on. But ended up being fine. Was all right. Thank the heavens. My goodness. But that made it 1-0. Massa with the sac fly, 2-0. You're hoping to get a little bit more there. Weren't able to come through, but, well, they saved it for later. Don't you worry. Huge 6th inning. Massa, Seti, they got on. Carlos Narvaez, a 3-run shot out to left. That's his first since July 23rd. Carlos Narvaez, this is a guy that we've been, I don't want to say worrying about. I think some people have been worrying a little bit about Narvaez, but people have been, what's the right word? Speculating, kind of thinking like, how's Narvaez going to be here for the rest of the year, right? We all know, how good, how solid he's been this year, both defensively and with the bat. But, he has looked a little sluggish, so that was a good sign, right? And again, they brought up Ali Sanchez. I think they did that to really just give them more depth at catcher at the major league level. Some people, when they called him up, are thinking, oh man, is Wong, going to get sent down? Is he going to get DFA'd? But no, I think they're just kind of helping themselves out, just giving them a bit more leeway there, and Ali Sanchez, a guy that did pretty well with the bat in the Blue Jays system before the Red Sox claimed him off waivers. But Narvaez, good sign. Good to see. And then didn't stop there. Roman had one of his 4 walks. Should have been 5. Bregman had a 2-run shot. Just poked it out to right field. Stuck the bat out there, really. And home run. Made it 7-0. Back-to-back nights. Bregman, his first 2 games back in Houston since signing with the Red Sox, with a home run. Gotta love that. We got to give Bregman the blank check. Listen, I know Alex Bregman, he said, oh, yes, he wants to focus on the season. He wants to, he wants to focus on baseball right now. Yes. I put out a tweet yesterday. It was supposed to just be a fun tweet. And there are a lot of people that were just like, I understand why people were taking it seriously. I can't remember how I worded it. I said, it was a picture of Bregman. He did a commercial for Sam Adams, which I think is great. We need more of those. I love anytime, someone on the Red Sox or the Celtics or the Patriots, they do like a commercial or something. I always love those. I think they're great. And Bregman, he did a promotion with Sam Adams, and they got a beer, Bregman's beer or whatever. That's great. I love that. So I just put a screenshot picture of Bregman holding the can of his own beer, wearing a Sam Adams hat and whatnot. And I said, how have the Red Sox not signed this guy long term? But I'm thinking I'm just more, because I love this promotion that he did with Sam Adams. I loved the picture that I had posted there. I thought it was just hilarious, and I thought it was just great. And I just had some people getting grumpy, like saying, like, oh, he wants to focus on baseball, right? It's like he doesn't want to talk. I'm like, yes, I know. I'm just having fun. We're trying to have fun here. It's but I'm still gonna say it. I do think they're eventually going to get a long-term deal done. Listen, if I'm the Red Sox, I get it. Bregman wants to focus on baseball, but hopefully they get a deal done, and I do think they will eventually. I got to get myself one of those Sam Adams beers, by the way. That looks amazing. I just want one to just have as a collector's item, honestly. Looks great. Moving on here, 7th inning, Willier with his first double of the night. He had 2 on the night overall. That drove in a run. 8th inning, Roman, 4th home run of the year. My goodness, where he hit that, it was right in that one little nook and cranny out there in right center. Just a pretty deep part of the field there. Roman, he is just something else. We already went over the historical facts earlier. Again, youngest player in Red Sox history since Ted Williams in 1939 to have 4 walks and a home run in the same game. The difference with that one, though, Ted Williams had 8 plate appearances in that one. Roman had 6 here tonight. Just pointing that out. No, I'm not comparing Ted Williams to Roman Anthony. I'm not doing that. No. It's still fun to look at, though. Still fun. What a night for Roman. Duran Story with a base hit. Toro, he's been driving in some runs here. Had a home run last night. RBI base hit tonight. That made it 10-0. Willier with another double. That made it 12-0. Ninth inning, Roman with another walk. Duran Bregman with a base hit. Story, another RBI. Made it 13-0. Massa drove in a run. 14-0. And the Astros ended up scoring there off of Giovanni Moran, who made his Red Sox debut. Good story with him, right? He's been injured for a little while there. Came back up here. He's pitching really well back in the minors. And give him a run here tonight, but a couple of strikeouts overall. Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. What a night. Great night. History made. Lots of runs. Dustin May looking like the guy that, yes, I mean, Mookie Betts getting traded to the Dodgers, that's not a great memory. But for me, I love putting together trades. I've always been into like roster construction. You know, go back to 2019 when those rumors were first coming up. A lot of people were upset about it. For me, I was too. But the part of me that loves putting together trades, I mean, I was trying to put some, trades together, and I had a couple of mock trades at the time where I'm trying to see what can I do to get, Dustin May. Can the Red Sox get Dustin May back in this kind of a trade? So at the time, I mean, the guy was one of the top pitching prospects in the game. He might have been the top pitching prospect. I have to go back and look. He was one of them at least. But that tonight, that's the guy that I was visualizing back in 2019, right before 2020. Gotta love it. Great night. A lot of you here in the chat coming in to hang out here tonight. A way better crowd. It's amazing what a win can do, where a lot of you just come in, even no matter what time it is. When they lose, you can just go look at the number of views on past streams, and you can just see that the Red Sox lost the game, right? They win big here tonight, an exciting night, and there's a lot of people coming in to watch. It's funny how a win can make everyone feel better, right? Let's get to one more thing. A couple more things. Before we end tonight's show. We got one more game here tomorrow. Let's take a look-see at tomorrow's game here. I mean, listen, sure, it's great to score 14 runs here. It's good to see a little bit of history with Roman here tonight. Good to see Bregman taking it to his old team. But, hey, the goal here is to win a series. And, listen, tomorrow's game, it is not going to be easy peasy. You got Walker Buehler going up against Hunter Brown. Walker Buehler is what I call Mr. Box of Chocolates. I feel like you just don't know what you're going to get with Walker. But he has looked better. All right, go back to his last outing there. First shutout appearance in a long time, his last time out against the Padres. 6 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned. His last time against Houston, he gave up 9 hits, though. All right, that was back at Fenway Park. 3 earned, no strikeouts. So I don't know what you're going to get here, right? If we were to go back, let me actually here. So that was on August 2nd. Let's go back, because if you remember his last start against the Padres, he was pitching out of the stretch, and he was going a lot with the fastball. Are we going to see that again? Or is he going to stick with that same game plan? That's one thing I've just been wondering about with Buehler. It's, what is your plan moving forward? Are you just going to go from one extreme to the other? It was so crazy seeing him throw that many fastballs his last time out. But his last time against Houston, he led with the slider. He led with the sinkers as well, 21% of the time. And then he had 17% on the fastballs. That's a huge difference from what he had against the Padres. So, I mean, obviously that wasn't really working his last time out. I mean, if you go to the exit velos, well, that's another thing to focus on here too. When he was throwing the fastballs against the Astros, they were clobbering these pitches, 102 miles an hour average exit velo. So is he going to stick with that? I mean, the sinkers, they were hitting a lot of his pitches hard, right? The sliders, 98 miles an hour on the exit velo. The sinkers right around 90 miles an hour. So I'm interested to see what the game plan is going to be. I mean, you just saw Dustin May leading the way with the breaking pitches here tonight. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, again, he led with the slider last time. That didn't really work out. So I'm curious. Is he going to lead with the fastball? Are we going to see maybe some more sinkers? I'm always interested in what Walker Buehler is going to do. Either way, he's going to have a tough matchup, not just against this lineup, but the guy that's going to be pitching for their team, Hunter Brown. We just saw Hunter Brown not too long ago. Very good. 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned. No decision there. But he's been very good this year. A 2.51 ERA. Strikeout numbers are looking good. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. We just saw him. This is not going to be an easy matchup. We'll see. We'll see. But hey, again, fun night tonight. Lots of runs, history. But the goal at the end of the day is to win a series. That is the goal. So, before we do get out of here, I do have one more story. We're going to talk about Jordan Hicks. I thought this article was pretty interesting. But we are out of time here on NESN. So if you want to see the Jordan Hicks story, come on over to YouTube, Monster Territory, and come check us out. But I do have to wrap things up here on NESN. We are out of time. So NESN viewers, thank you for watching here tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow for the Game 3 post-game coverage. We'll see you then. But let's get to the Jordan Hicks story here. So Jordan Hicks, he has not been very good. Not been very good with the Red Sox. Let me actually pull up the numbers here. He's had a lot of bumps with the Red Sox, and I'm starting to wonder, man, what is going to be the game plan with Jordan Hicks here, right? I mean, we know the deal with Hicks. Guy's got electric stuff, big fastball. Just hasn't really been able to put it together here. Now, taking a look at the numbers with the Red Sox so far. 14 games, 13 innings, ERA at a 6.23, FIP at a 5.95. He's been walking a lot of guys, 5.5 walks per 9, 1.4 home runs per 9. It has not been good. And he had an interesting quote here. Interesting quote, right? Remember, you go back to last night's game, if he doesn't give up that home run, I mean, maybe you're looking at a series win here right now. That could be the case. But he said this. He said, if I'm going to be giving up these kind of runs out of the bullpen, I should really be throwing the pitch I want to throw. It's something I had to realize. That's probably my mindset moving forward. You have to throw what feels good in the situation. If you have any second thoughts, you're not going to throw your best pitch. So that's kind of where, I could see both sides to this, right? Obviously, the results have not been there. Obviously, he has not been good. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right? So I'd like to see a bit more accountability there. I'd like to see, him say, hey, you know what? This is on me. I haven't been making the effective pitches. I just feel like this isn't the right thing to say in the moment, especially when you haven't really been performing. Because now, I mean, the way he's saying this, he's not flat out saying the catchers or the pitching coaches are the problem, but by saying, I should really be throwing the pitch I want to throw. He's basically saying that the game plan that is being presented to him, whether that's from the staff, the catcher, whoever's catching, it's almost like he's blaming them in a way, but he's not like flat out saying it, right? So to me, that's where I don't like this quote very much. I'd like to see a bit more accountability there. However, if he does feel like that is the problem, right? If he feels like his approach is going to be better, well, that's something that he's going to have to talk to, with the coaching staff, right? With the catchers. That's something they got to talk about. So not a big fan of him saying this kind of out publicly like that. I just think that's something you should keep in-house. Again, I don't think it's wrong to feel that way. Hey, at the end of the day, we all go to work. We all have jobs. We're all doing something. We all work with different coworkers and whatnot. And yeah, disagreements are going to happen. That's just part of the game. It's, you're going to have your good days and your bad days, right? But whenever you have the disagreements and you want things to get better, right, it's usually good to talk about those things and not just talk about it with a reporter out there. So, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like he lacked some accountability here, and I would like to not read something like that. I understand where he's coming from. Maybe he just doesn't feel comfortable with the game plan that he's been presented. Either way, though, the results aren't there. The proof's in the pudding. You're not performing. So instead of going out there and airing the dirty laundry, well, I'd say let's try a different approach. I'd like to see him get it on track here. Obviously, I want him to succeed in this bullpen, and I want the Red Sox to do well. I want everyone to do well. I'm always going to back up the players, but I don't back up that quote very much. So that's the right way to say it. Brent Bell, Hicks throwing shade. That's the only thing he's throwing well these days. That's a great quote, Brent Bell. That's amazing. The only thing, the best pitch he's throwing is the shade. So let's not do this, Jordan Hicks, moving forward, because you got an electric arm. All of us here in Boston, we all want you to do well. I'll leave it at that. Everybody, thank you for joining me here tonight. A late night show. Again, we are a little late here tonight because it is a West Coast game. Not as late as, say, in California, but I do appreciate all of you stopping by here tonight. I always appreciate that. It's always great seeing the familiar faces. We got Moose, Swifty Edits. How you doing? Emily, Brent, Nick, Julio, Pat, Andrew, George, Smoke Dog. How we doing? Corbin. How we doing? Again, everyone, apologies for getting on here a little bit late. I was having a couple of issues. Apologies about that. But everyone, Doc, how you doing, my friend? Everybody, go get yourself some rest. We got another one tomorrow. Let's enjoy this tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow night for the post-game coverage. I'll see you then.